All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA video. This is sort of a impromptu trade deadline um, thing. There isn't a lot of buzz about what's going on in the WNBA trade deadline wise. We already had the Dejanay Carrington trade to the Minnesota Lynx, and there really hasn't been a lot of buzz. I've read a couple articles in preparation for this video, and there's just some small stuff around the edges. A couple of the articles had the Chicago Sky um, selling some stuff off to Tank. There was some stuff about the Dallas Wings selling some stuff, more stuff off to Tank for the rest of the season to get a higher draft pick. And I don't really want to talk about that. Um, I and we will talk about some other teams, but the main portion, the main focus of this video is going to be about Angel Reese, who's on the right side of your screen, number 5, and Camila Cardosa, who's on the left side of your screen, number 10. The Chicago Sky and what they could do, because they're sort of at a crossroads. And we will talk about some other stuff. There are some draft implications to what I'm going to be talking about, so I'm going to try to break that down for you guys. There is some other smaller stuff that we will get into, some slight rumors, but nothing too crazy. Again, the main portion of this video is going to be about the Chicago Sky. So yeah, if you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you like the vibes, consider subscribing. So this is all a theory of mine. What I'm about to say. It's all theory. There's no reports, no rumors about this out there. Um, I have a crazy trade deadline thought, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And this thought process was spurred on by a Reddit post I saw a couple days ago, where it was like, would the Chicago Sky ever trade? Well, one, I saw an Angel Reese post about it, and my thought process was, no, they would never trade Angel Reese. But it got me thinking, who would they trade? Would they trade Camila Cardosa? Cardosa? I think it's Cardosa. Apologies if I'm wrong. I've heard it said about 5 different ways. Um, and I thought no, because they're a good front court. They're okay. They in the games that they've played together and separately, there's a pretty good sample size of both now. They obviously play better without the other one there. It's plain as day. But I had a thought process, and the thought was they would trade Camila Cardosa, and this was after the Nafisa Collier injury um, that happened this weekend. It's now reported that she's going to at least be out 2 weeks, and you know, well, let me how do I set this up? The Minnesota Lynx have the Chicago Sky's pick this year in the 2026 WNBA draft, and the Sky probably aren't as bad as they thought they would be, and they kind of need that pick to keep improving the roster. They don't have a pick. What if the Chicago Sky traded Camila Cardosa to the Minnesota Lynx for their pick back? Now, there would need to be a couple more moving gears involved, a couple more moving pieces involved to actually make this deal go down, but those are the bones of the deal that I thought of. And to give you guys a refresher, because I needed a refresher as well, if I could find it here. This is from April 13th, 2025. So earlier this year. The Minnesota Lynx announced today that the team has acquired Chicago's first round pick in the 2026 WNBA draft in exchange for the 11th overall selection in Monday's 2025 WNBA draft. So they did this deal just months ago, and the Chicago Sky did it so they could get, I believe it was Haley Van Lith. Yes, Haley Van Lith. And Haley Van Lith hasn't really gotten the minutes. She really hasn't gotten time to show what she is, so I'm not going to be too harsh on her. But I think it's for the best if the Chicago Sky do break up this front court duo of Camila and Angel and sort of hit the reset button a little bit. Retry, if you will. Um, I I think I think the Lynx need somebody like Camila, who's just another body to throw out there. It would make sense for the Lynx if you don't have to give up too much else. It would give. Not that I don't like Elena Smith. I've given Elena Smith so much praise over the last couple of videos I've made about the Lynx and the games they've played. But with the Fisikalia going down, with your lack of bigger bodies, I think this is worth it. And I think if the Lynx do this, they open up their championship window even more. We have a young big in Camila who can learn from Nafisa. Um, Angel Reese on the other side, staying with the Chicago Sky, gets more free reign. I'm gonna pull up the numbers in a minute here, tell you how they play with each other and without each other. Um, it is more obvious that the the Sky play a more cohesive brand of basketball when Angel Reese is out there versus when Camila's out there by herself. And together they sort of make it work, but it could be better if they were on separate teams. And if you look into the WNBA draft next year, I'm looking at the mock draft via Tankathon. Tankathon's awesome. Um, right now is projected that this is before the draft lottery and everything. So this is just a projection that the Dallas Wings will get the first pick and they'll draft Lauren Betts out of UCLA, the big center. Um, the Sky don't need a center. So they're not banking on getting the number one pick. They just want to get their pick back and be in the top five, let's say. It's top four, top three, you know what I mean? Um, the Sky needed to be a top three, top five pick. Because in that top three, you have AZ Fudd, who is definitely coming out next year, barring an injury, um, who people are raving about. I'm not convinced that she's a number one pick, but as a number two or number three pick, hell yes, sign me up. And especially, that's one thing that the Sky has struggled with immensely is having a dynamic or just a guard of substance that can help facilitate and help score the ball and take some pressure off Angel. Because Angel has had to wear many hats over the course of this season, and I'm very proud of her in doing that because I thought she had it in her, and now that she's showing it, it's even better that we know she can do it in a pinch. You also have Olivia Miles at a TCU. Was supposed to come out last year, did not come out last year. You could get her. You could get Tanaya Latson. I'm not familiar with Tanaya Latson. And then you have Angel Reese's old teammate, Flau'jae Johnson. Now, this is the pick Chicago has right now. They have the fifth pick or projected fifth pick. You could say to the Lynx, hey, this is my full trade breakdown, by the way. Listen up, listen up, listen up. I'm going to give you Camila Cardosa, the number five pick, or my lottery pick, essentially, my first round pick. You give me my other pick back, and we call it a day. And we figure out whatever contracts we need to line up. We'll figure that out. But we do that, I get my pick back that's projected higher. Now, this is the fun part here. I'm gonna do a little thing here. On Tankathon, you can sim the lottery. I've simmed this a couple times before I started recording this video, and it was funny because in my mind I was like, well, in my mind, in actuality, when I did this, their fifth pick jumped up, and their second pick, what would be their second pick, went down. So I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna sim it right now for you guys. Simming the lottery. This is the one time it happens. So I simmed the lottery on Tankathon, and like I said, if the trade happens, or my proposed trade happens, um, the Chicago Sky would get their pick back from the Lynx, and they would give up the fifth pick in Camila Cardosa. In this simmed lottery, that pick that they got from that trade, fantasy trade, made up trade, it jumped up to one. So now they have the number one pick. So then now you can do whatever you want with that, right? So I just wanted to put that out there. That could happen as well. Is it a high possibility? I don't know, but it could. Um, But that's my thought, is that this front court in thought it works well. When you have a guard who actually sets both Angel and Camila up, it works. When you had Courtney Vandersloot, it works. She went down the first 10 games in the season, right? You don't have her. It's tough. That's how the sports work. Sometimes you have a plan, it doesn't go to plan, and then you have to blow it up a little bit. I don't think the GM, from what I've heard, from when I've talked to Sky fans, is going to give in that easily to just admitting he was wrong and moving on and trying to fix it. He's just going to ride it out. Um, but I do think it's painfully obvious that they do play better without each other. Just for a point of reference here, I'm going to go through both their careers. They've both same draft class, um, same draft class, um, and we'll go through the numbers right here. Angel Reese, number 5, 14 points, 4 turnovers a game, um, almost a block, steal and a half, 12 rebounds. That's her calling card, is the rebounding. Does not shoot the three ball. Um, and she's 44% from field goal, and she's played 23 games this season thus far. Um, Angel Reese. And then Camila Cardosa, 12 points, 2 turnovers, almost a block, no steals, uh, 2 assists. Let me see, Angel Reese assists? Yeah, 3 assists for Angel Reese. I did not read her assist. Pardon me. Camila Cardosa, um, 8 rebounds, does not take threes either, um, and 51% from field goal. Now, I'm going to look into their game logs here. So give me a moment while I talk about um, what I think. I'm a bigger Camila Cardosa fan. Um, I am. I think she has the potential to be better than Angel Reese. Um, Angel Reese has obviously proven this season that she is she is the one they should probably build around. Um, and I I'm hesitant to say that um, maybe Camila doesn't have the motor that Angel Reese has, and that's the only defining factor that separates them truly, is the motor. And Angel Reese has such a high motor, has such an intensity for the game that Camila really doesn't have. And somebody said this, and I saw it, and it all made sense to me in that moment. They said Camila Cardosa plays like somebody who's just been tall their whole life and who's just been told to play basketball and not been given the opportunity to play another sport, you know? And that makes sense to me. It really does make sense to me because Camila Cardosa, how tall is she here? Uh she's 6'7". Yes, she's a tall woman. Um I think I think that's really what it is for Camila. And I don't know if anybody could get it out of her on the Chicago roster or any other coach besides a seasoned coach. And Tyler Marsh is not a seasoned coach. This is his first head coaching gig. So I think it would be best for Camila and the Chicago Sky to part ways. Um, Let me make sure I have the game logs here correct. All right. So just as an example here, this is very recent. This was let's see, when was this? This was 622. Or well, for reference, let me roll it back here. It's 627. Chicago was in Golden State to play the um the Valkyries, and they and Camila Cardosa did not play. This is a game in which Angel Reese did play. She played 34 minutes. She had 17 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 3 turnovers, 7 of 16 overall from field goal, 43% from field goal, and she took 1 3 and made it. Camila Cardosa did not play that game. In comparison, some of these other games Angel Reese has played with Camila. Um, let's see here. in a game versus LA in Chicago where they both played. Angel Reese had 18 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 turnovers, 6 of 12 from field goal, 50% from field goal. Did not take a three. And in that game, Camila Cardosa had 27, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers, 10 of 15 from field goal, 66% from field goal. Took 1 3 and made it. So um, they have games where they do play good together, and then there are other games where they just don't. I'm having a hard time finding games because I'm trying to do this on ESPN, and that's probably not the best place to do this. But just as a reference, they do have good games together. They do. Other times, I feel like I know they play better without each other. Um, and I do want to roll the clock back a little bit here to talk about. Well, not roll the clock back. Let me rewind this for a second. I want to talk about um, the seasons they've had together. I don't think they've had a winning season yet. Yeah, they haven't made the playoffs as a team I won't say as a team as a duo. They haven't made the playoffs. They finished last season 13-27, and right now they're 7-21. So there's that. So could there could you make an argument they just need to be given time? Yes. Is there an argument that you should break it up? Yes. I think the Sky need this pick. They either you say, hey, we're gonna take the season, we'll keep both of them, and hopefully the pick jumps to 1 or 2 or 3, or you say you trade Camila, you get the other pick back that's projected higher right now, and you cross your fingers on that one. Could do that. I think that's okay. Um, Moving on to some other stuff here. I do want to make this a bit of a shorter video. Um, I want to talk about some other stuff, um, some other trades that could go down, some other stuff. There is that Satu Sabali stuff that's still hanging over the Phoenix Mercury. I've heard no movement on that whatsoever. I thought maybe there would be some rumors or some stuff that would come out about it. Since I talked about it yesterday, nothing has come out. And I've heard a lot of rumblings, heard some thoughts of some crazy ideas where she could be traded. Again, it would have to happen in the next 72 hours or 70 something hours like that. I don't know, and I haven't heard anything, so I can neither confirm or deny. Um, there's some other stuff here. Just reading through this Ringer article. There's talks of the Mystics getting involved. They still have Aaliyah Edwards on their roster. They want to try to move off of her because Kiki Arifin has been a revelation for them in her rookie season. Um, there's the Seattle Storm, who could make some moves. They haven't had the best back half of the season thus far. Um, they're looking to push for the playoffs. They're looking to be somewhat of a contender. I don't know. I don't know what they could do. I kind of like their roster the way it is. I talked about the Aces already in my Aces video. There's nothing that the Aces could do to fix what they have going on this season. It's a whole restructuring of the team and the roster as a whole. Um, Talked about the Chicago Sky. Um, there's some funny stuff going on with the Connecticut Sun. I'll talk about it in a different video, but there's not so much trade deadline stuff, but like organizational stuff of the team being sold, but the commissioner not bringing it to the with the owners, the other owners. So we'll talk about that in a different video. Um, there's been rumblings throughout the course of the season that Arike Gumbawale might get traded around this time. The Dallas Wings have shut that down. They're going to keep her. They're going to try to re-sign her because she's a free agent this offseason, or let her walk. Who knows? Um, and yeah, I think that's it. Just a mini little trade deadline thing. I don't think anything's gonna happen big, but watch, I'll just put my foot in my mouth this video, and something will happen. So yeah, that's it. I hope you like this video. I hope it sounds okay. I did get some errors as I was recording this, so if there are some technical errors or audio errors, I apologize. Um, but thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.